Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Rissa.
And I'm Michy.
And you're listening to the Sequel Channel. Hi. Guys, it's been a minute since we've been here.
Yeah, a little bit.
For us.
Yeah.
For you, it's been no time.
Maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah. But for us, it's been like, what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. But you know what? You'll always have a friend in me.
Yes, that is true. Because today, we're talking about Toy Story.
Toys.
Toys are fucking alive.
Both exciting and a fever dream.
Okay, so when you were a kid and you watched this for the first time, did you feel like your toys were alive?
I remember being pretty scared and just being like, are my toys alive when I'm not in the room? And I was like a little apprehensive because I had a lot of Bratz dolls. I was a Bratz kid.
Oh no.
And they had those big ass fucking eyes.
Yeah.
And like, it just, sometimes I'd be looking at them, they're staring. Like,
Imagine seeing that movie and like, you're a kid whose interest is like Victorian dolls.
no. I can't. I'm gonna call it right there because those dolls, terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think I ever felt this way about my toys. I don't know. Sometimes these movies kind of get me feeling some kind of way as I'm older. Like, oh, my stuffed animals in my closet. Like, I appreciate them a bit more now.
Yeah, well, and also just, you kind of think about the deeper parts of the Toy Story movies, and you're like, damn, growing up sucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you just think about, like, all the toys that you left behind.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
You've got a friend in me.
Fun fact, though, that was like one of the first gifts I ever gave you, was a Toy Story mug that said, "You've got a friend in me."
And I still have it.
Yeah. It's one of my first presents.
We're still friends.
You still got a friend in me, B?
I might cry on the pod right now.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. Toy Story, man. I fucking like that movie. I watched the first one before you came over today.
Yeah, I watched the first one like a few days ago.
Can we just talk about something real quick? I just want to bring something up before we start into all this. Okay?
Hit me.
Why are there so many unnecessary sexual innuendos in the Toy Story franchise?
Dude, what is up with that?
Like, Disney, we had a talk. My legs crossed.
These are toys.
My hands are crossed. My
but
legs
not
are crossed.
Those
Palms are together.
kind of toys.
And I'm wondering why you felt the need to sexualize these toys.
Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And, it's just also so interesting because, and we'll learn more about this when we talk about your movie facts, but, I'm sure it's probably one of the highest grossing Disney franchise as a whole, I would imagine.
Franchise? Yes.
So, it's just crazy that the main thing that they're known for, I would say, like, if you've watched any Disney movie, it's Toy Story, right? So it's just funny that those movies are so hypersexualized in a lot of different scenarios in those movies. Yeah, I just kind of noticed that. It's definitely like very prominent in the first movie. It's not as noted in the second movie, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely just, like, more, obvious, like, romantic interest and, like, that they're flirty and they obviously date, and that kind of world is, prominent in their society, which whatever's fine.
There are toys, but they're adult toys.
But
essentially.
but was it necessary?
No.
Yeah, so it's just so weird.
It's definitely
so
strange.
Weird. But,
Yeah.
Not that we're going to talk about the seedy underbelly of Disney films, but, maybe if, put a like in the comments. Say, I'd like for you guys to do a spinoff of Disney conspiracies and other Disney-related things. I've had so many thoughts of, like, we could talk about our most, like, wanted Disney sequel.
I thought we had already talked about doing that.
Well, yeah, but, like, I mean...
That's on our list.
Yeah, but... I mean... For, like, a spin-off thing. Not in this, where we're exclusively talking about movies.
Okay. You want, like, something that's not even thought about yet kind of thing. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I got you.
Maybe it's, like, special episodes. Where it's just us ranting about things that we want to talk about Disney-related things, or other related things.
Yeah.
Like, movie-wise.
I mean, this is our podcast. We do whatever we want.
I mean, yeah. I'm going to keep it in the realm of movies. I'm not just going to, like, start talking about what I did last week. That's what I did.
Disney conspiracy theories.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because there was a lot of freaking sex jokes and stuff in those movies. And it's just kind of ick when you're watching it as an adult and you're like, wow.
This is for children.
Yeah, it's for fucking children.
I mean, to be fair, though, when you think about Disney movies, there are quite a few Disney movies that are like that, and they have very strong sexual connotations, and you, as an adult, are watching this like, oh, that didn't make sense to me as a child, but now it does, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm mainly thinking, like, obviously older Disney movies are like that.
Yeah.
The newer ones aren't as much like that.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're more pure somehow.
Yeah.
Just strange. I mean, yes, it makes sense.
Yeah, we could have a whole episode talking about the modernization of Disney, I'm telling you.
Well, I think it's time we get into our Michy's movie facts. I'm gonna find music for this. I don't have anything yet. I saved a couple things. But we'll see what I end
You just needed like a jubilant trumpet.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like what you were doing, like
like a jazzy trumpet.
Kinda.
Okay. All right.
I'll send you some clips.
Okay.
I'll send it via email.
All right. So let's dive right in. Toy Story 1 came out 1995. We were not born yet. But
I was cooking.
We were both cooking, but I have very distinct memories of seeing the trailer for Toy Story.
Womb?
No. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe, but no.
I heard it in the womb.
No.
After you were born.
Yeah, after I was born, I guess.
You saw it, the trailer?
The trailer for Toy Story. There's just like certain clips that I just remember being like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer.
Oh. And like other movies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just the era of VHS that we grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I, in fact, do remember listening to this in the womb.
Womb.
You know, honestly, I probably was like my mom probably did take my brother to see this movie when it came out, and I was like in the womb, so technically like little fetus me was just like cooking in there, just like Oh, you got a friend in me.
Okay. Okay, alright. So, Toy Story's budget was $30 million. Not as much as you'd think, but still quite a lot. However, their profit, they made in the worldwide box office over $365 million. So, about 10 times their
Good
budget.
for Disney.
Yeah, and they got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that was cool. And then our cast for Toy Story. Obviously, Woody is played by Tom Hanks. You know, the dude from Forrest Gump, Polar Express. I mean, it's just endless. Tom Hanks is a very
We don't need to talk about Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Tom Hanks, get the fuck out.
And same for Tim Allen, you know, Santa Claus, Home Improvement. I think that was the name of his show. Anyway, super popular guy. Mr. Potato Head was played by Don Rickles. Rest in peace, he's no longer with us. And he was Cornwall in Quest for Camelot. It was the only other credit I saw that I recognized. And then Rex, obviously Wallace Shawn, the inconceivable from Princess Bride. We already talked about him. And Slinky Dog is also another person we've already talked about. Jim Varney. He was Cookie in Atlantis. Rest in peace. He is no longer with us. Bo Peep is played by Annie Potts. She's pretty cool. She has been Bo Peep in all of the Toy Story movies. And then the coolest thing I found out is she's the secretary from Ghostbusters.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, her name's Janine Melnitz, and she's the secretary. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very interesting.
So that's Bo Peep. And then Ham is played by John Ratzenberger. And he's John in WALL-E. You know, the guy who gets bumped out of his chair and falls. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's like, hold on, John, get ready to have some kids.
Oh my god.
I love WALL-E.
Same.
He also was the Yeti in Monsters, Inc. When they get, like, transported to the frozen wasteland or whatever.
Yeah.
And he plays Mac in Cars. I don't know who Mac is, but...
I've never seen Cars.
You've never seen Cars?
No.
Any of them?
No.
Girl.
I will one day.
You will one day, because it's on our list.
What if we got Cars today?
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
Foreshadowing.
Alright, and then Andy's played by John Morris. And this is so funny. The only thing he's ever been is Andy. That's it. All of his credits are Andy, like for video games or other Toy Story things. I was so floored because I was like, wow. And there was only like 8 or it was not a lot of credits either.
Do you think he made a lot of money from that? And then he just saved it, invested it really well, and just lived off of that?
I genuinely don't know. I'm just really curious.
Was he Andy in all movies?
Yes. Except for the 4th one. He's not the adult Andy, but he plays a
child.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 3 movies, I imagine, over a franchise and video games. I don't know how those rights work, but I imagine he probably made a good amount of money.
Yep. And then Sid is played by Eric Von Detten.
Fancy.
He was in a lot of TV back in the day. He was in the show called So Weird, which I've never seen. And he was in like 200 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
Like, whoa. He plays Danny in Escape to Witch Mountain, the TV movie from, like, forever ago. And then he's Josh Bryant in The Princess Diaries. The guy, the hair flip guy that, like, everyone wants her to be with. The blonde dude.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Sid. Yeah, strange. But his last film credit, this guy's last film credit was in 2010. He's just disappeared off the face of the earth. He's not dead.
He was just like, I've done enough movies.
He said, I'm done.
Yeah.
Princess Diaries was enough for him.
Yeah, I mean, once you meet Anne Hathaway, like, what's the point?
Your life is set.
Yeah. And Julia Andrews, too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I would just be like, okay, I'm ready to die now.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm done, thanks. Bye.
Get in my coffin.
So the director of this was John Lasseter. He did Toy Story 1 and 2.
Y'all know that guy.
He did Cars 1 and 2. He did A Bug's Life. He was the director for all those.
If you've watched any of the Studio Ghibli movies, he's that guy at the beginning, that, like, the fucking white guy that's like, I'm John Lasseter.
Yeah. I'm John Lasseter.
And, yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Always wearing funny shirts.
Yep.
He's one of those guys.
Yep. And then, so for writers, it was John Lasseter. And then Pete Docter. He wrote Wall-E, Soul, Inside Out, Up, and he helped with Monsters, Inc. So already, like, director and writer crew banging. And then another writer was Andrew Stanton, and he also helped on Wall-E, Bug's Life, and then he did Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. And he had hands on all of the Toy Story movies. So he is with all of them, which is pretty cool. And then the music is done by none other than Randy Newman. Classic. And he's done all the Toy Stories. So, chef's kiss there. He also did Princess and the Frog, Monsters, Inc., Cars, which is so strange that everyone is on Cars from this. And then James and the Giant Peach, actually. So, it's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. But then we get into the sequel.
Which is mostly the same people, I imagine.
So, this one came out 4 years later, 1999. And I definitely have very vivid memories of seeing the trailer for this one. The whole ride like the wind, bullseye. And the use your head. I don't want to use my head. And there's just so many, like, different lines that they use in the trailer that I just they live in my brain rent free.
Yeah.
Forever.
I agree.
So the budget for the second one was higher. It was $90 million, so they tripled their budget. They made somewhere between $511 and $512 million. So, again, they did pretty well.
People like toys.
Mm-hmm.
Talking toys.
Talking toys. And then we get into cast changes. So, everyone kept their original role. We just had a bunch of new characters. So, Jessie's played by Joan Cusack, sister to John Cusack. She has done a bunch of stuff. If you don't know who Joan Cusack is, you should really go away. But some of the best things that she's ever done is Addams Family Values, where she plays Debbie. She's the judge in the series of Unfortunate Events show on Netflix. That shit slaps. She's an ice princess. Love that movie. And then we get the prospector, as played by Kelsey Grammer. And he was Dr. Frasier Crane in Cheers, and then the producer for the show Frasier. He's Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons. And my favorite credit of his is Vlad in Anastasia.
Oh my god, Vlad.
Mm-hmm. We love Vlad. So Mrs. Potato Head is played by Estelle Harris, Rest in peace. She is no longer with us. So sad. She was in a few episodes of The Sweet Life and Zack and Cody. She's like the redheaded maid. Her name's Muriel. And then the best thing about her, she's that old lady bear from Brother Bear. She's like, I can still hear my poor Edgar.
Freaking love Little Bear.
Quit telling everyone I'm dead. And then Al McKagan, the chicken guy. He is Wayne Knight. He's that dude from Jurassic Park. The one who, like, does the bad shit and then gets eaten by the dinosaurs. He's, like, the first one to die, I think, in those movies. And then he was in Space Jam. And he's Tantor in Tarzan, the elephant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And Emperor Zurg is voiced by Andrew Stanton, who's one of the writers. Yeah, so that was neat. Wheezy is played by Joe Ranft. It's Heimlich.
Heimlich.
From A Bug's Life. And he also was the Binoculars from the first movie. And he's Jacques from Finding Nemo. You know, the cleaning. What is he? He's not a shrimp.
Yeah, he's a shrimp.
Is he a shrimp?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, French shrimp.
He's like a cleaning shrimp.
Yep. And then my favorite addition to this movie is Tour Guide Barbie. It's played by Jodie Benson. It's Ariel.
Ariel.
Yeah, she plays Tour Guide Barbie.
Multifaceted. Mermaid
So
and Barbie.
Talented. Alright, and then the director is the same, plus we got another director, Ash Brannon, and it's so weird because I don't know who this guy is, and he has very little credits. He directed Surf's Up, which is like that off-brand Madagascar movie, I think, or something.
No, it's like a penguin movie.
A penguin movie?
Where they surf.
It's off-brand, whatever it is. And then he did Arcane, which is that League of Legends movie. And then he did a movie called Stoner Cats. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so interesting dude, Mr. Brannon. And then there also was another director, Lee Unkrich. And he was mostly just kind of like an editor that they had on the team. He worked on Onward, Cars, Bug's Life. And then the writers were all the same, plus Ash, Mr. Brannon. And then Randy Newman also did the music for the second one.
Very nice.
Yeah, so our fun facts. Woody's burn mark from the first one is gone in this movie.
Yeah.
Do toys heal?
I mean, they obviously can be repaired to some degree because Woody is repaired multiple times in Toy Story 2. So, I imagine Andy just like had his mom take some paint to him and fix his face.
Okay, yeah. That's fair. The credits of this movie. So this was a 3-year-long production for Toy Story 2, okay? So they decided to list the credits of 29 children that were born to the film crew during the production period.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
29 children were born to this one film crew within 3 years.
It's a lot of making babies.
That's like Village of the Damned.
Look, I'm not going to start talking into my feelings of the human race and how many children we have. So, moving right along.
The yard sale scene and Woody's nightmare scene, those are actually ideas from the first movie that they just recycled and used for this one.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's neat. And there are hints in this movie making it seem like Woody is really old, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of that being called a family toy. And then at one point, the prospector calls him a hand-me-down. Have you ever thought about where Andy's dad is?
You know, it's really hard to try to put a finger on what happens to any of the parents in a Disney film, to be quite honest. Do I think about it? Yeah. I am sure that most people will be like, oh, he's probably just a deadbeat dad, and he didn't want his son, and he left. But, I mean, he could have freaking died.
Right.
The reality in most Disney movies is that he fucking died.
Yeah, so the theory is that Woody belonged to Andy's dad first, and then was given to Andy when his dad either passed away or whatever.
Yeah, or his dad was like, this is yours now, my son, like you're old enough. One of those things. But yeah, very cool. Very interesting.
Yeah, so that is a good theory. Kind of sort of ties into another theory, but I'll talk about that one later when we get to it.
Okay. Alright. Are you ready to talk about the movie?
Let's get this show on the road.
So, this movie starts out with that the scene where you don't know you're in a video game, but it's weird. You're obviously in space. We get in and we see Buzz. He's just kind of talking to his intercom thingy, I guess, whatever. Star log, whatever. Making a log of what his mission was, whatever. So, whatever. Space stuff. And we are introduced to Zurg for the first time. Not for the first time. We know he exists in the first movie. However, we see him for the first time once Buzz gets down to his lair. He tries to get his main source of power, which is a single AA battery. Very strong.
I was like, a battery?
Yeah, right?
What's with the battery?
Squint. But, and it's a video game in the real world of this movie. But anyways, so, they fight. Buzz ends up getting zapped by Zurg and his body comes off, right?
He's in half.
He's yeah, it's just his legs. And it's legs fall down, and then he falls down, and then it's da-da-da-da-da, and then he realizes it's a video game. And we cue into Buzz and Rex, and Rex is playing the video game. He's very sad that he couldn't, because it's the small arms, he can't press the buttons at the same time. It's hard for him to beat the boss battle. So, he's struggling, and, Buzz is talking to him, and, Woody is freaking nervous.
Woody's running around and he's like, I gotta get things ready and you know what to do and the toys at the bottom of the chest need to be rotated and...
Yeah, this stuff. Because he's going to cowboy camp.
He's like, I gotta go to cowboy camp.
Yeah. He's got, he's a boss man, but he is going to cowboy camp. And he needs somebody to...
So he's leaving Buzz in charge.
Yeah. And he can't find his cowboy hat. So what kind of cowboy is he, to be quite honest? But anyways, everyone's looking for him because, Woody just bosses everyone around. And everyone's panicking and Bo Peep goes up to him. And it's trying to calm him down. And then freaking more sexual innuendos here.
She's like, let him look.
Right? Let him look.
Whoa.
When she's going to kiss him, I'm just like, God,
whoa.
There are children in this theater.
Voyeurism.
Right? So, and then at perfect timing, thank God for the sheep, honestly. The sheep, they're conscious because they can talk to Bo Peep. So they know that she's a fucking just slut, just slutting around. Not I'm not using slut in a negative way. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Don't feel all weird about it. Anyways, she's being all like throwing it around, and the sheep are like, "God damn it, Bo!" And they go and fuck with Rex's shit, and then Rex is like, little arms again, cannot help him, so he's like, "Please help someone, help me!" And in the panic of the sheep trying to get his controller for his video game, the controller crashes, the TV turns on, and coincidentally enough, we get an Al's Toy Barn commercial.
It's the chicken guy.
Now, this doesn't really mean anything at this point, but it is, if you have seen this movie before, you're like,
it's relevant later.
Yeah, it's relevant. So it's funny that this comes on before. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yep. So then they're like, "Oh shit, Andy's coming."
Mm-hmm.
And then Andy runs in the room and he's like, "Woody, you ready to go to cowboy camp?" And his mom's like, "You got 5 minutes, dude." And he's like, 5 minutes, huh? And then he's like, create an entire scene. And it's like playing with the toys. And
yeah, there's so many times in this movie where they mention time, specific things, and then the time that spans between those moments do not feel like they mentioned 5 minutes and 15 minutes in this movie, and they do not feel like they were events that it would have taken.
Right. Well, it's like when they leave the house, the sun is still up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, they don't get to Al's Toy Barn until the next day. But when they leave the toy barn, they're like, "Oh, we have to get back because Andy will be back tonight."
Right. But they don't... How do they end up getting back the same night Andy gets back?
Right.
When...
It took them way longer to get there. Like, I mean, they did drive.
Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah, there is that. I think that was the only, I think that was Disney's, shitty way of explaining it. But...
Alright, I did forget about that part. I'll give it to you, Disney. You can have it.
But, whatever.
Oh, cute nails.
Thank you. So, what were we talking about?
We were talking about how Andy is coming in and he plays with the toys. And then while he's playing with them...
Oh, yeah. Fucking
rips
Andy's arm.
Fucking Woody's arm.
Fucking Andy rips Woody's arm. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. And, his mom comes in and she sees this. Andy's like, he's ripped his arm. And his mom's like, "Oh, we could fix him on the way to cowboy camp." And Andy's like, "Nah, just leave him."
Yeah, he's like, "No, I just won't take him." I'm like, what?
No to that totally reasonable response, and thank you for mom for asking.
I just don't...
offering to do that.
I don't understand.
But honestly, I guess like he said at the end of the movie, this is a little spoiler.
Ooh, screw.
But he does say, "Thank goodness I didn't bring him to cowboy camp because his whole arm could have fallen off." So,
which it did end up falling off at some point. So.
And almost 2 times. Yeah, I add. Mm-hmm. So,
you're
crazy.
Yep. So then Andy leaves, and Woody is like, well...
He gets shelved.
And he gets real emo about it, too.
Yeah.
And then he has that nightmare.
Nobody puts Woody on the shelf. Everyone's like, "Oh, Woody's been shelved." Yeah, everyone's making a big spectacle about it.
Like, dude, it's fine.
And we learn in Toy World that's a pretty big deal. And he sees Wheezy.
Yeah, after his nightmare, he wakes up and then he finds Wheezy. Yeah. He's like, "Wheezy, I thought you were taken to get fixed forever ago." And Wheezy's like, "No, she forgot about me."
Yeah. Do you think that Woody's nightmare was of any significance? Other than just, him being scared that Andy didn't want him anymore?
Yeah, I mean, he just was afraid that Andy didn't want him anymore. That's essentially all of that was,
Okay.
Why are you?
No, it's just like,
Yeah.
wondering.
I think he's just being paranoid.
Yeah. Typical Woody. But, so, Andy's mom comes in. She's looking for toys.
Well, they see the yard sale sign go up out front, and Woody's like, yard sale! Yard sale! And they're like, emergency roll call! And Wheezy, it's just like, squeak.
Very accurate.
Right on, Duke.
Very accurate, Wheezy impersonation.
Squeak.
But yeah, Andy's mom comes in. She's looking for toys for the yard sale. She ends up grabbing Wheezy.
Yep. And Woody is butthurt because he's like, you should have been fixed. Like, Andy was so sad. Which, why was Andy sad about the squeaky toy?
I mean,
squeaky toy.
Andy does have a lot of toys.
I guess that's fair. Man, he's spoiled.
You have to think about the squeaky shark that he has in the chest, too. He's like, howdy, howdy, howdy.
Yeah.
I'm Woody. Like, I love that shark. That's probably my favorite Andy toy.
Shark.
Shark.
His title in the credits is just Shark.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just Shark. He doesn't have a name, it's just Shark.
But yeah, Woody, for some reason, does not decide to be like, hey, everybody, they got Wheezy. Like, Wheezy was up here.
Yeah.
He, like, tells nobody. He just goes super emo and for some reason decides to not speak to anyone.
He just rides the family puppy into the yard sale.
Yeah, he takes Buster. Like, he brings Buster into this. Like, how fucking rude.
So rude.
Just really rude, honestly. And he just, it just really confuses me. Like, I guess he just has to play hero.
It confuses you why he doesn't ask for help, essentially. That's just a Woody trait, you know?
Yeah, but he goes down, he gets Wheezy, stuffs him in Buster's collar. They make their way back. Meanwhile, his arm is still freaking, like, dangling off of him. He can't use it, you know? So, he's just, like, one arm in it. Like, you could have asked for help, my guy. Yeah. But, Wheezy ends up slipping, but Woody pushes him in just enough to get him into Buster's collar. Buster gets him inside, but the door shuts. Woody's outside.
Yep. And then a child picks him up off the ground. She's like, Mommy, can I have this toy? And the mom's like,
you don't want this thing.
It's broken.
The way she flips him.
Dude, she just, like, picks him up by his, like,
one arm.
Just, like, flings him onto the table.
That's a family heirloom.
And when she does his string pulls.
There's a snake in my... Or wait.
Yeah, there's...
Somebody poison the water hole.
No, I think he says, there's a snake in my boot.
Oh, okay.
And it catches the attention of...
Krusty.
Al McCrusty.
Al McCrusty. Is his last name McCrusty?
It's McHiggins.
Oh.
But McCrusty was better.
Yeah, that'd be good. He was very crusty. At one point, he was like, I'm not going to shower. When he was going on.
Oh my god, yeah, he did say that.
Ew. Nasty.
Yeah, he was like,
Skip the shower.
I can skip the shower. He, like, sniffs his pit.
Like, you literally cannot. That's when you know you can.
Sometimes I really hate humans.
Same.
Not anyone listening to this.
Yeah. But the humans that would do something like that. Smell their pit and be like, I'll skip the shower. Like, no. If you feel like you need to smell yourself to confirm, you just take the shower.
Just wash your butthole, please.
Please. So, that guy... He's like, you look at this guy and you're just like, he can't be trusted.
Yeah.
And he wants this Woody doll.
Mm-hmm.
He's like freaking out. He wants to have him with his hat. When he finds his hat, he's like, oh my god, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andy's mom comes up and he like starts asking about this stuff. Mm. And she's just basically like, no, excuse me, bitch. That's not yours.
She's like, this is a family toy.
Yeah, this is a family toy.
And he's like, please.
Playing with me.
Because at first he's like, I'll give you 50 cents for all this junk.
Yeah.
She's like, oh. She's like, where did you get that? That's not supposed to be out here. And he's like, $5. And she's like, no. And he's like, $50.
Man. Andy's mom should have been a little bit more, like, street smart in these days and age, you know? To say, excuse me, sir, you can not have this, and then immediately take it back inside her home where it would have been safe.
Yeah.
But she decides to put it in the money box that's there.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I feel like back in those days, people had a little bit more faith in humanity.
Yeah, but also, too, why was her money box just, like,
laying around
on the table with, like, other stuff that was being sold?
Yeah, that's not smart.
Just, like, none of that, like, seems smart to me. Which is why I just, like...
Why was she having a yard sale?
I mean...
Interesting. It makes me want to watch the third one.
Oh, you know what? Andy was gone for cowboy camp at this point, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You are trying as a single mother, I imagine, to, not that I would know, but to try to optimize your time as much as possible while your children are gone.
It's a good way to clean out the house.
And clean out your house and take care of stuff. And that also eliminates the whole issue of them bitching and being like, no, don't give it away. I want to keep that. You know, that eliminates all of that.
Yeah.
So she didn't have any, like, there was one lesser thing. And I don't think, is it Molly?
Molly.
I don't think Molly was old enough still to be any work that would, you know, cause her to not be able to have the yard sale. So I think that's why. But yeah.
Yeah.
She locks fucking Woody in the lockbox, and that's sketchy Al.
Al McCrusty.
He uses a skateboard and causes a ruckus.
A ruckus.
I almost said collision, and I was like, I don't really know if that's the right word. So he starts a ruckus.
A distraction.
He knocks some stuff over.
He breaks some shit. The fucking glass.
Really rude, honestly. Just so rude.
You go to someone else's house, break their things, and steal their son's toys.
Mm-hmm. He uses, like, I don't even know what he uses.
To get into the lockbox?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I think he just fiddles with it till it pops open. Does he just have,
like, a freaking screwdriver on him?
He seems like the kind of shifty person who would know how to pick a lock.
Yeah, so he gets Woody. And meanwhile,
the toys are watching.
Is seeing all of this.
Because they're like, oh, it was a rescue mission, not a suicide mission. They're like, oh, Woody saved Wheezy. And they're like, oh my god, Woody. They're like, yeah, Andy's mom saved the day. And they're like, oh my god, that guy's kidnapping Woody.
Yeah. And they're, you know, traumatized. Obviously, they literally have just witnessed a kidnapping.
And everyone's like, why would they steal Woody?
Yeah, everyone's just shocked. Because they don't know Woody's lore.
No, they don't.
But we learn about it while he's gone.
The lore.
The Woody lore.
The lore.
The Woody lore. There's something this funny about
that. Doesn't sound good.
That sounds really odd. That is going to be the title of this episode.
The Woody lore. Merch idea. You know, as I'm editing these episodes and going through, I'm taking out anything I feel like would be a good merch idea.
Yes.
Hold on. There's actually one I wanted to share with you. Because that's really funny. Oh my god. In the first one, you said thirst trap lions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think should be the title for the Lion King episode. There's no other way.
There is no other way.
And we can have it without that.
I can't wait to watch it, honestly.
Alright, breathe. Do you need a fan?
I do. Kofu.
Oh my god. But yeah, so the toys that witness a kidnapping, they are trying to figure out why and where Woody has been taken.
Mm-hmm.
Buzz does try to catch Al. He only is able to grab a single feather
Mm-hmm.
from the back of Al's trunk that, like, pops open briefly.
Yeah. And he sees his license plate.
Which is LZ Toy. TY Born, I think. Or, yeah, I don't know what it was. But it was Al's Toy Barn.
Yeah.
Is the actual license plate, which Buzz learns by putting in somehow. I've never really understood how he figures it out and, like, puts it in, because that just literally spells words, the toy that he's using.
Well, I think Buzz saw the license plate and he realized that it meant something, but he didn't know what, so he's trying out different variations of different words that were similar.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that's how we got Al's Toy Barn. And then they were like, because they were using the Etch-a-Sketch to draw a picture of him.
Yeah.
And then they were, Buzz is like, put that man in a chicken suit.
And they're all shocked, and they realize it's the guy in the freaking chicken commercial.
It's the chicken guy!
From the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And, basically they try to find that commercial to figure out where to go.
Yep.
To Al's Toy Barn.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're going back to Woody and where he's at. And
we're meeting the Roundup Gang.
And we meet the Roundup Gang.
And we're going to find out the Woody lore.
And they are so happy to see Woody. They're like, oh my god.
The prodigal son has returned.
We've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
And he's like, Woody's like, I'm so confused, like, why?
Yeah, he's like, oh,
weirdo.
I'm just a toy.
Yeah. He's like, Prospector, or Stinky Pete, as I call him.
Stinky Pete.
Stinky Pete. He's like, you don't know who you are,
do you?
And Woody's like, clearly I don't. Clearly. And, we find out that Woody's very, very, very famous and popular in, like, what, the 50s in that time?
The 50s, yeah. The article said 1957. Which is like, whoa. Because this is 1999.
He's in really good condition.
Yeah.
For being a toy for the 50s.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is like a hand-me-down. Like, Woody has been passed down in this, essentially the same family since, he was a toy. And that's what I believe. That they just took really good care of him.
It's really crazy.
He's so well loved.
Yeah.
Which honestly makes the fourth one even more sad.
In a way.
Because it's like breaking the generations of passing him down.
Yeah, that's true. It's also, and maybe we can talk about this more when we talk about the Toy Story 4 movie.
Yeah,
sure,
we'll
have that episode. I wasn't really sure what we're gonna do in terms of ones like this with multiple.
Yeah, we'll have a whole season dedicated to movies that have more than 2 sequels. And so that season we'll be watching, for example, Toy Story 3 and 4. We'll watch all the rest of the Stitch movies, the good ones.
No.
Traumatized. You don't want to watch Stitch Has a Glitch?
Yes.
It's so good.
Man.
We will never watch Stitch the movie ever again, I promise. I swear.
Talk to my therapist about it. I still have dreams about it.
Nightmares.
I have sleep paralysis.
About purple Jumba.
Purple Jumba is my sleep paralysis demon. I was gonna say something, and that you saying Stitch threw me into a trauma episode. Sorry.
Well, I was just talking about how we'll have this separate season to watch the rest of the movies.
Oh, what I was going to say was to answer your question about, what was it? about saying the whole thing about how it's sad. The fourth
Yeah.
movie is sad because it's ending a whole generation of passing him down. I think that it's also it is kind of sad in that sense, but I think that it's nice in the way that it gives Woody self-liberation in that movie. Like, he's his own person, and, like, that's really cool, and, like, I think that Toy Story 4 as a whole, and this is all I'll say about this and we can move on, was a movie that Disney made for the adults that watched Toy Story growing up as kids, and this one was for the adults, my guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we'll talk about that more when we get there.
All right. So, Buzz and the toys figure out Al's location through the TV, and they leave for the rescue mission. And then it goes back to Woody with his new friends. And they're like, we're being sold. We're going to Japan. And he's like, Japan? Oh, no. I can't go to Japan. And then they gaslight him.
Yeah. Oh my god, Jesse's like voice, and that was so funny in that moment. Just so very gaslighty.
Dude, it was a lot.
I'm sure you're precious, Andy. Like, okay.
I choke on my water.
Like, okay, sis. And where is Emily?
I'll talk about that in a second. So, Woody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then Al comes back. So they're like, oh crap. And they all hide, and Woody's, a string from his, broken arm gets caught on the stand, and it rips his whole arm off. So then Al starts freaking out, and he's like, oh my god.
Because he's setting him up for photos to send to the people he's trying to sell them to.
Yeah, in Tokyo. And so Woody's just like, oh my god, I lost my arm. And they're like, you'll be fixed up, you'll be fine. And then we go back to the toys, who are literally wandering the streets at night because the prospector is like, it's a dangerous world out there for a toy. And cuts to the toys outside at night, just wandering. Buzz,
because Woody was gonna leave, but he couldn't because his arm fell off. And that's why Prospector was saying that it's dangerous.
Yeah. And so Buzz is like, only 2 blocks down. 19 to go. Which again goes back to our time thing, and just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and like, how long did it take them to get across those 2 blocks?
Hours, essentially.
There's not really a time frame that we're able to really know, I guess, at that time, but it does just seem like if that was the case, like, they were insinuating that they had 19 more to go. It just goes to say, like, it probably took them a long time to get across those first 2.
Yep.
So, interesting.
And then we go back to Woody. He sneaks out of his cage again. Al is asleep on the couch. The floor is Cheetos.
Cheeto puffed up. And Bullseye is like wanting to help him, bless his little heart.
Bullseye is so cute.
Such a sweet baby angel. And Woody's like, no, you can't. And then he gives in, because who wouldn't to that face?
I wouldn't.
And they proceed to go into the Cheeto minefield and try to get his arm. Bullseye lifts him up. Woody goes up on his chest, tries to get his arm.
And Bullseye starts licking the man's fucking Cheeto. Nasty, crusty. Dude, when they showed those... Did you take a good look when they showed his fingers?
Yeah, but you don't know where those hands have been.
It was so crusty.
It
was disgusting.
That's why McCrusty would have been the best name for him.
Dude, it was really bad. I literally was like... Ugh.
And then he burped in Woody's face, too, which, like, oh my god. Like, honestly, if he hadn't been a toy, that might have killed him. So.
I believe that, 100%.
But he does succeed in getting his arm.
Like, he does grab his arm, yep. But then the TV gets turned on.
Yeah. And on the way back to the cases, the TV gets turned on.
Yep, and then his arm gets taken away from him again. Mm-hmm. He gets put back in the cage, and then Al goes back to sleep, and Woody is pissed at Jesse, and he's like...
accusing Jesse of doing it.
Why did you turn the TV on? Like, how could you? And she's like, I didn't do it. And the prospector's like, don't fight, because they kind of wrestle a little bit.
Yeah.
Lord. And then, meanwhile, the toys make it to Al's toy barn. It's finally the next day. It's morning now.
Yeah.
Yep. And,
so it's safe to assume that it definitely took them probably multiple hours to get across those 19 blocks.
I mean, I'm
to get to Al's toy barn.
Somewhere between 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah. So, anyways.
At least. And
they find a way into Al's toy barn.
Mm-hmm. They move across the street using cones and cause a major pileup. First of all,
literally murder, like probably multiple innocent people.
Like definitely injuries. At
anything
least.
for Woody.
Yeah. So they make it, and then we go back to Woody being cleaned by the cleaner.
Just the best, most like if you know this scene, it is the most aesthetically pleasing scene in a Disney movie.
It's pretty great.
It's the best.
Just like watching him get all tidied up and polished, and
when he does the cotton ball over his eyes, that's just so satisfying. When he paints over his shoe, even though it's kind of like rude, but it's like so nice to just see the paint go on.
My favorite part was when he repainted his hair.
Yeah, with the little brush thingy, or the little airbrush thingy. Yeah, that's really cool. I love all of it. But they go inside the toy barn.
And we go back to the
Rex.
toys.
Yeah, Rex immediately gets ADHD, finds
Rex is my spirit animal
for the game he was playing at the beginning of the movie, and he brings that with him, and they just kind of begin searching for Woody.
You remember when those things were really popular? Manuals for games and stuff like that. Those were good days.
Yeah, because they used to always come with like such interesting like information about the game and like
and good artwork.
Yeah, not only that, and like cheats and interesting things that you could find, and stickers sometimes. Lots of cool stuff.
Nowadays, you just Google it.
Yeah, just gotta go Google.
Get an ad in overloaded website that tells you how to beat the level.
Right. But, yeah, so they bring that with them. They begin their journey to try to find Woody.
And Buzz goes down the Buzz aisle.
Which was not a good idea for him. Like, why did he do that?
Nope. And he saw the sign for a utility belt.
That's why he went.
He wanted the belt.
Utility belt.
And then he meets utility belt Buzz.
And he's like, you can't be here.
Yeah, and Buzz is like, no, you're a toy. And utility belt goes, I'm Buzz Lightyear. And then he is like, you are a traitor. You work for Zurg. And utility belt traps Buzz in a case.
Buzz Lightyear. Okay, like a Buzz Lightyear box.
Just really ironic.
Yeah.
He's just another Buzz on the shelf.
Right. Really was funny.
And then, the rest of the gang gets in a car and they see the Barbies where they're partying. And tour guide Barbie gets in.
Because I think they asked them if anyone knows how to find the owner of the establishment or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, do you know where Al of Al's Toy Barn is?
Yeah, and she's like, I know wherever.
And so they're like, where's Al's office?
Yeah. She's like, she gets in the car, she's like, hi, I'm Tour Guide Barbie.
I'm Tour Guide Barbie.
And
okay, Ariel.
She like says some stuff. Mr. Potato Head is nasty about it.
Dude, yeah, that was another thing that I remember from the commercial for the trailer for this movie.
I'm married Spud.
I'm married Spud. Yeah,
that's like that's ones for the married couples that are unhappy. But anyways, so they drive off to go find the office, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, they do find Buzz, right?
Yeah, I put Buzz Lightyear gets the switcheroo.
Oh, yeah.
Because the other Buzz, utility belt Buzz, gets in the car. Because he's like, oh, a mission.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rex tells him that he knows how to defeat Zurg.
Right.
And so that's why he's like, oh, I'm going to go with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up going. They realize that they are not going to find Woody there.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep. And then we go back to Woody, who is now clean because they got all those photos taken.
Brand new, looking fresh.
He's like, I look like I'm straight out of the box. And the prospector's like, you might as well make amends with Jessie before you leave. And she finally opens up about why she's so, bleh about having an owner. It's because she had an owner. Her name was Emily.
And her owner did not care about her. The same way Andy cares about Woody.
Yeah.
And it proceeds into one of the saddest freaking scenes in a Disney movie ever.
Seeing Jessie under the bed covered in dust
is pretty sad.
It's pretty heckin' sad.
And the song is so sad too. And then there's the added layer of being now in an age of TikTok where people have used this song for videos where their pets have passed away, and now every time I hear that song, I just my eyes just start twitching uncontrollably.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing about Emily is there's a theory that surrounds her, and the theory is that Emily is Andy's mom.
Yeah, I have seen that before because of the purse thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of her purses is the same.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's she, as an adult, she tries to protect her son's toys. And especially if, she had the Jessie and then the man that she ended up getting with had the Woody. And then he's like, oh, this is a family toy that we passed down. And it's a whole new appreciation, essentially, for those kinds of things. And it just comes full circle for her.
Yeah, she would have learned her lesson.
Yeah, it's a theory. I don't think Disney's ever confirmed that, but...
Yeah. It's cool to think, though.
It is there. So then Woody decides to stay.
You're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. Yeah, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Japan after all. Why not? Or, yeah.
Well, the prospector's whispering in his ear the whole time, Andy's growing up. What's he gonna do with you when he grows up?
Yeah.
He'll just toss you aside.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Plant them seeds of fear.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, real Buzz, we go back to real Buzz, busting out of his little case. And then he follows Chicken Guy. He sees him and he's like, oh my god, Chicken Guy. But on his way out of the toy barn, he unleashes a Zurg instead. And then my next note says, Imposter Buzz is loco, but gets them into the hotel at least.
Yeah. He does realize that there is a secret entrance to in the shadows to the left, because that's what Rex tells him.
Yeah.
Which is really just coincidental and funny. But they end up getting into the vents, and somehow how by some miraculous twist of fate, they end up getting to the floor they need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's the whole thing with that elevator.
Yeah. I mean, but how do they know? So they're not on the elevator the whole time. They're only on there briefly.
Right.
So are they, like, counting the floors as they're going up?
They're
like, how did they
toys.
end up there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, whatever.
Some logic is just...
Basically, they end up there.
Yep.
They end up running into the Zerg at one point on the elevator
Mm-hmm.
on the top. And, man, that scene is so funny. I remember as a kid watching that so many times back as just, like, laughing at Zerg falling off the roof, like, the roof of the elevator. Like, the sound that he makes is just like, no! Like, that sound is so funny.
Yeah.
And we learn some Buzz Lightyear lore too.
Oh my god.
That Zurg is Buzz Lightyear's father. Which I've never seen the Lightyear movie either, which this is also something I had mentioned to Michy in this movie. Buzz Lightyear mentions like a law at one point, which we'll mention in a little bit. And I also wonder if in the Lightyear movie they talk more about how Zurg is his father, or if that's not actually going to be canon in the movie or not.
I genuinely don't know. I wish I knew more.
But now we're going to have to watch the Lightyear movie to figure out.
I saw all of the profit data for every single Toy Story, including Lightyear, and it did the worst out of all of them. I
mean, I didn't really like the idea of it, but it would be interesting to learn more about Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
And, like, his world. Because when they do end up getting into finding Woody and the Buzzes collide, an interesting thing happens between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So real Buzz is right behind Utility Belt Buzz in the Gru. He's coming right behind him, and Zurg is right behind them. And we get back to Woody, who's like, I'm actually excited to go. Yeah. That's fine. That's cool. I can go. And it feels forced. Like, you can tell.
Yeah, tell yourself a third time and maybe it'll be more convincing.
Literally. And my note just says, Woody is stupid.
Yeah.
And then ride like the wind bullseye.
Woody just, God bless him, he just wants to make other people around him happy, too.
Dude, the people-pleasing act is so 2000 and late. Like, stop. Even though it's not even the 2000s yet.
Yeah, I'm like, that time it was probably a nice thing.
But then that's when we get everyone is like playing with Woody and they're like tickling him and he's like, no, stop. And the toys hear him and they're like, oh,
they're torturing him.
They're like, oh god, it's awful. And they're like, how are we going to get through? And it's like, use your head. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use my head.
The iconic scene with Rex.
Bust
through.
And try and take Woody back.
Yeah, they basically just try to steal him at first. And then Woody talks to them and they're like, they're my buddies. Mm-hmm. And everything gets kind of explained a little bit. And Woody's like, I'm not going to go with you guys.
Yeah.
And then, other Buzz comes in.
Yeah. And other Buzz is like, he pops his helmet open, and the other one's like, and then real Buzz lifts his foot and shows the Andy, and they're like, Buzz!
Yeah. And at one point, the real Buzz says to Tactical Belt Buzz, like, oh, don't worry, he's a code.
It's a code 546.
So that's another thing I wonder if they'll cover it all.
Yeah, because Utility Belt Buzz goes, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
What?
So it's very interesting. Definitely want to learn more about that.
Yeah.
If I can.
So Woody doesn't want to leave, so the rest of the toys are like, let's just go. We'll just leave without Woody, because fuck him.
We gotta get back to Andy before, like we said, night.
Yeah.
Which is
And
literally
it's already,
morning.
like,
It's like afternoon probably now.
Yeah, it's just, the timing is annoying.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But then Woody's like, you know what? I do want to go because his show's playing in the background, and Woody in the show is like, the most real treasure is your friends and family.
Friend in me. And then he realizes, oh shit, Andy does have a friend in me.
Yeah.
And he tries to convince Bullseye and Jesse to go, and Stinky Pete, but then you realize, Stinky Pete is the bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
So then I put Prospector fuck shit up. It's so rude. And then in all caps, Zurg. Because that's when Zurg shows up, because they're trying to leave and to follow after Woody and all of them, because Al came in and packed everything up. And so the rest of the toys are trying to rush to the elevator, and Zurg is there, and they're like, ah! And they start fighting. And then that's when we get our very iconic Star Wars reference.
Yeah. And him falling off the roof and saying, no!
You killed my father.
So funny.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
No! And then Rex is like, you can do it, Buzz. I believe in you. And he's like, I can't watch. And turns to the side and fucking swipes the shit out of Zurg's legs. And that's when he falls. And Rex is like, oh, I finally defeated Zurg. And Buzz is like, Father. Just can't.
Sad.
I can't. And then as they finally get to the lobby, and Mr. Potato Head does that hat trick where he throws his hat and it keeps the door open. No tiny piece of plastic is that strong.
That's real strength.
What the fuck is that hat made out of?
It's built different.
It's built different. Yeah, and I just want to know whose idea was it for these toys to look at the Pizza Planet truck and go, oh, we can drive that.
Yeah, let's just steal this vehicle.
Because that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They drove the Pizza Planet truck to the airport.
Which, how do they know where the airport... I guess they followed it. They followed
the other guy.
But still, it's just crazy. They just knew that they needed to follow him.
Oh yeah, and the three little aliens are hanging from the thing, and they're like, ooh, the wand of power. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Potato Head saves them from falling out the window,
prompting them to worship him.
And they're like, you have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful.
Mr. Potato Head does not like that.
He hates it. The toys sneak into the airport in a dog crate.
Slinky Dog does the impression of the dog.
Because a girl runs up. She's like, puppy, puppy.
He's like, bark, 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 bark,
bark.
Oh my god, it's so funny. I love it.
Slinky Dog is so good. I am so sad that Jim Varney passed away after this movie.
Right after.
I think
he did his like, bark, 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 bark.
Ghost emoji.
Yeah.
Skull and crossbones. Alright, and so they split up once they get through the baggage claim, or into the baggage area, because there's luggage everywhere. There's so much luggage back there.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Right after Al is yelling at the freaking attendant.
Which he would, because he's crusty.
He's so gross.
He's crusty.
He's like, that suitcase is worth more than your life. Like, dude, just jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish you had a life.
He steals toys from children. That's messed up.
Yeah, you literally stole a child's toy.
That's just nasty.
But they basically split up to go to the two chests that are holding the toys.
Yeah, well, there's 2 identical green chests, and so they split up to go after one. And one has camera equipment, and the other had Woody.
But Stinky Pete fucking threw a...
Buzz opens the thing, and Stinky Pete decks him in the face.
Yeah, decks him right in the face.
Like, dang, dude.
And, yeah, he's just mad. He doesn't want to go back into storage.
Yeah, he's about to beat up Woody. He kind of slices his arm again, loosens the strings, and he's like, "You'll go either willingly or in pieces."
You know, it's pretty, like, messed up that he, like, cut his arm like that.
Dude, he was gonna dismantle Woody.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And so, after that, the gang shows up with the camera equipment, doing the flash. And Stinky Pete is just like, he's like, children destroy toys. He's like, they get rid of you. You know what? It's a lot of foreshadowing for the third one. You know, with the daycare and just, and like that. I see what you did there, Disney. Mm-hmm. I see you. And then you just see them being like, oh, you'll get what's coming to you.
Mm-hmm. He ends up getting placed with Emma?
He gets put in a backpack with some girl.
I think it was Annie?
Yeah, Annie.
Yeah, she was an artist.
The Barbie turns her face and it's like covered in stickers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, ah!
He does not like it. I love when the girl picks up the bag. She's like, oh, look, Barbie, a big ugly man doll. It's my favorite thing.
Big ugly man doll.
Big ugly man doll. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know. You win some, you lose some, Stinky Pete.
But things are all not peaches and cream just yet.
Yep, because Jessie gets stuck in the case, and so they have to chase after her.
Well, Bullseye, Woody, and Buzz end up chasing after her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And she's on the plane. Woody ends up getting on the plane, and they're like, all right, let's go. We'll jump. 3, 2, closes the door.
Closes, of course.
So they find this little hatch above the tire.
Which I don't know nothing about airplanes. Is that there?
I have no clue. I've never been in a cargo hold of an airplane before, where the luggage goes. So it definitely makes me never want to put anything remotely fragile in my check bag.
Right.
Especially when he threw that box that said glass and fragile, and it went...
Yeah. Well, that's how
shattered.
I feel about traveling with anything delicate. Sucks.
Yeah.
Always run the risk. But they climb down the wheels of the airplane. They're trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Woody decides he can use his pull string.
As a lasso.
To get them off. He tells Bullseye and Buzz to get behind the wheels. And he miraculously gets on this bolt. This one little, like, flat bolt.
It's like slightly oval rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly, just the perfect shape for his little hope.
Yep.
For his pull string. And he loops around it, flings them off. Of course he lands it. Mm-hmm. However that's supposed to have happened. But, you know, whatever. But, they end up getting on Bullseye and riding into the sunset together.
Yeah, it is pretty cute. But that's when, you know, you get back to the house and you see Andy running in and he goes straight for Woody. Mm-hmm. And that's so wholesome. You know, he still loves Woody.
Yeah, and it's also just really, you know, you have to feel for Woody in that moment because he had that nightmare of that moment when he came in and he went right for him. Mm-hmm. And he grabbed him and realized that he wasn't broken and he didn't fucking care about him anymore. For him to immediately come for him and then just be so happy to see him, to have seen him. Like, that's just very nice. It was a very nice moment in the movie.
Yeah, and Andy he's like, oh, cool, new toys, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
The mom, like, where the fuck did that come from? What the hell? What? Did I buy that?
Yeah, and we never see a stepdad, so we don't know if there's any sort of presence.
I don't think we ever see any father figure.
Yeah, any sort of father figure presence. So
just the mom.
Just wonder. I have to wonder. But, and that's how the movie ends.
Just about. We see the luggage thing.
Yeah.
The, like, trucks that carry the luggage across the airport strip. They drove that home. So that's cool. And then Buzz hits on Jessie.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat cute, but then alarming when she does the little flip trick to open the door and his wings just pop open.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention the part where Bo Peep fucking kisses Buzz.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, give this to Woody for me.
When you find him.
And it's like...
He's like, I don't think it's going to mean the same coming from me.
Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say Bo Peep throw it around.
She do, I guess.
She just be throwing it around in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't care.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dang.
You've got a friend in me.
And then, oh yeah, the potatoes adopt those aliens.
Yeah.
The ones that were like,
begrudgingly.
You saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. And she's like, the wife, Mrs. Potato, she's like, you saved their lives?
Let's adopt them.
Let's adopt them.
And then Mr. Potato Head is clearly not happy.
He's like, oh no.
And Wheezy ends it up with a song.
Yep. Wheezy got his squeaker fixed. Squeaker McSqueakerson. He is set to sing because somehow he is so crazy good singer.
Yeah, Richard Goulart, I think it was the name.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either, but...
Yeet.
And we see cute credits during the end.
Yeah,
we see cute...
it's like a blooper reel.
Blooper reels during the credits of this movie, which is really wholesome.
It really is great.
Yeah. We're going to get into our rating of this movie now. Talk about it a little bit more.
I can't remember all of our categories.
Oh, no.
Let's start with plot.
Okay. Plot. This movie had a really good plot, I think.
I think there were some plot holes with the times and just...
I think...
It's a child's movie, though.
Yeah, I think it is hard only because we're looking at this through the eyes of adults.
Right.
So it's like we're being a little bit more harsh when it comes to those types of things.
Yeah.
However, I have to be fair in terms of like what, timing would be like for them in this movie, whatever. So, with that being said, like I'm not gonna include that in my rating. I'm not gonna include those types of things. Like I don't really feel like they should be included only because it's not those types of details weren't meant to be looked at critically.
Yeah. That's fair.
But, if that were the case, then it would definitely be getting a lower rating. Or should I include that? Or should it get a lower rating because of that? I mean, these are grown-ass people making these movies. I take everything I said back. Never mind. I don't need any opinion. I'm part of this podcast. I'm saying...
Co-creator of the podcast.
I'm saying no. It gets points deducted.
Yeah, I would say so. But not a lot. I think it should definitely... I don't think it's perfect.
It gets 0.5 points deducted.
I would say like a 4, I think.
Okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. not 5 or 4.5 worthy, but a 4 at least.
I really like this movie, and how it gets into, like I said, Woody's lore.
Yeah.
And, like, more into what this universe is like in the Disney universe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Characters are pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
You know, Buzz obviously has grown a lot and has changed a lot. But we get to see a good, like, nod to his acceptance into being a toy when he does the thing to utility belt Buzz by
also when he
clipping his head.
He turns Woody's words from the first one back against him. He says, "You are a toy."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so seeing those things, like, I definitely would give it a 5. Woody is, definitely the same. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this, we see him take on a new level of self-growth that is very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Music?
Well, obviously it's a 5. Like, the music in this is so good. And the first movie, too, that scene when Buzz is, oh my god.
When he's so depressed.
He's so depressed. And he's like, Randy Newman's like, I could fly if I wanted to. It's so sad. It's so sad. You feel for Buzz in that moment. Like, it's really sad.
Yeah.
Top 10 saddest anime moments.
Lesson. I'm trying to. What is our lesson here?
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with. I don't really.
Because what was the lesson of the first one?
I think there's a a lot of different levels to the lessons. There's a lot of
it has layers.
Yeah, it had layers to it.
Like an onion. Being
accepting and supportive of change and, like, new people around you, I think. Like, that's a good part of it. Like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, from the first one, I would say change. That's good. So when you look at the second one, comparatively, I think it's more so. I mean, is it the same? I mean, I don't think it's quite the same.
Honestly, and this is going to be me getting in a little bit deep here, but I will say that, the thing for me in this movie was this gave Woody a lot of autonomy in the sense that he was able to actively, at the end, ultimately, he made the decision that he wanted to go back to be with Andy. Like, he got to hear everybody's side, but I do think there was a level of, like, everybody around him was forcing him into, like, these different ideals. Like, you had the Roundup gang forcing him to think that it would be better to be behind the glass because he'd just be loved and adored by children for all eternity, but whereas Buzz and everyone thinks that it's important for you to be loved and cherished and enjoyed by children in the sense of being, like, played with and, in that way. But it's only that moment when he goes and has that own self-reflection moment where he goes and watches that moment on the television where he realizes, oh, this is what I want because this is what has always made me happy. This is, like, something that, I know that I need in my life. And where he has that moment, he's like, you're right, Stinky Pete, Andy. I can't stop Andy from growing up. Yeah. But I wouldn't miss it for the world. And that's his self-discovery moment in that movie where he realizes this is where I belong. So I really think it's like a lesson of, like, who are you and where do you belong? Like,
Mhm.
and I think that in terms of that, this movie really does a very good job of showing that in this moment.
Mhm.
And it's very true to how Woody is as a person. So I'd give it a 5.
Okay. All right. Rewatchability?
Well, considering I've watched Toy Story 2 like probably 2 times in the past 6 months, I'd say it's a 5. It's one of those movies, it's like, it is really fun to just have on the background. If you like are a crafty person, you can just watch it, and like, it has a lot of really nostalgic scenes. Like you were saying,
Mhm.
it has a trailer where it really pushed those scenes into your head. Like, I agree with you. Growing up, like, I think of Toy Story 2 more than Toy Story 1, just because it's the one that I grew up with, like, as a kid. And I saw.
'Cause we were 3
Yeah.
when it came out, and
So.
so it just was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Impressionable minds.
But yeah, 5.
Cool. Do you remember what our last category is?
We added a new category.
Which was rewatchability.
Oh, no, we were going to add a new category, but we didn't because,
We have
remember...
6, but I only remember 5.
Oh.
Plot, character, lesson, music. Shit.
Oops.
Dang.
That's not good.
I don't have my book. The animation.
Oh, yeah. Animation style pretty much stayed the same. Just
If
improved.
anything, I think it just got better.
Yeah, just improved.
Yeah.
And for that, I give it a 5.
I can't give you 100, so I give you a 5. Alright, well, let's see.
Overall, it's no surprise that this is probably one of the higher rated movies on our list so far.
We have one that tops Frozen.
This one tops Frozen? Wow.
Yeah, it sure
Honestly,
does.
I am kind of not shocked that it did. This is a really good movie. I really like this movie.
Yeah, our total 4.8.
Yeah, 4.8. It's a really good movie, guys. Honestly, it doesn't really have any like weird fucking uncomfortable jokes other than the few sexual innuendo jokes. Other than that, it's a really genuinely like feel good Disney movie, and like has a good lesson to it, has a lot of good feel good moments, but then like is funny, and just overall, like, I'm really not shocked that it is highly ranked. I am only shocked that it deshelved Frozen. I'm just shocked anything deshelved Frozen.
I mean, maybe that's just the difference between the classic Disney, and modern Disney.
Yeah.
If they had stuck with classic Disney when it came to their sequels, this would be a whole different kind of world we live in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But
now it's time to figure out our next movie.
What's the next movie?
Let's find out.
I literally will laugh so hard if it's Cars.
If it's Cars.
Yes, that'd be so crazy.
I kind of have a feeling it's going to be Cars or Lion King. Alright, we're spinning our wheel. What do we get? Da-na-na-na.
Finding Dory.
Oh my god!
Unforgettable. That's what you are. How many times do you think we could get copyright strike?
I don't know.
Because if
it has to be longer than... It's either 5 seconds or 15 seconds to get the strike.
we might have to cut out some of our He Got Frozen Me. I think I went on a little bit longer. Anyways, next week we're going to be watching, next week?
No, I'll
week after.
Yeah.
Next week for you guys.
Yeah.
Not in real life.
Well, 2 weeks maybe. I don't know. We haven't really talked about our schedule.
Yeah, it's fine. Whenever it is for you guys. Whatever time.
Next
Time is
time.
irrelevant. Time is weird. But we're going to be watching Finding Dory. And yeah.
Probably crying.
You have been listening to.
I cry every time.
You've been listening to I Cry Every Time. That's our new podcast. Can we actually make a podcast like that? I actually like that.
I cry every time.
Cry every time.
It'll be a section of this podcast, a subgenre. Movies that make me cry every time.
I love that movie. But we'll talk about that more next time. But I'm Rissa.
And I'm Michy.
And you've been listening to The Sequel Channel. Boing!
See you real soon.